Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I'm going to solve the paper for the business study Cambridge O level. For the session of May June 2023, we have a subject code of 7115/12. We have 1 or 30 minutes for the paper, and the paper is carrying 80 marks. Okay. Now we will start the paper from the question number 2. Before making this video, I have already solved this paper, so I could explain each and every answer in detail. That might help you. FPW manufacture watches using job production. It employs 5 full-time production employees. Each worker is offered regular training. Last year, FBW sold 600 watches. The managing director plans to use break-even analysis to help decide whether to increase the price of its product. FBW's current break-even chart is shown in the figure 1.1. We can see that cost and revenue are plotted along y-axis and number of watches are plotted along x-axis. So fixed cost is 20,000. We know that, and total cost is given and total revenue as well. We can see that we have to identify why a business might offer training to its employee. So I have written it. You can write number of reasons for that answer, but 2 reasons are only required: to improve efficiency and productivity of the business. So we offer training. To introduce a new process or a new equipment, we have purchased a new equipment, so training is required. Calculate the following value using figure 5.1 break-even output. Break-even output, we can look that break-even, this is the break-even point. You can say BE, break-even point, and that is 500 watches, and cost and revenue value is corresponding to that is 60,000. So we're gonna write over here break-even point, the number of watches, break-even output for is 500 watches, and break-even revenue is $60,000. So break-even is the point where the total revenue and total cost cross each other. So every company desires to achieve this point as early as it can. Question number 1, part C, carrying 4 marks. Outline 2 possible FPW's break-even chart if the price of the products are increased. So we need to identify these 2 effects. It will reduce, if we increase the prices, obviously it will reduce or lower the break-even point. So it would help to increase the break-even point below 500 units, because 500 was the over break-even point. Effect number 2, by increasing the prices of the product, our profit margin would also be increased. So we can write other points as well, other valid points would be awarded as well. Explain 2 benefits of FBW having full-time employee. There are 2 kinds of employee, that are partially employed, yes, part-time employee and full-time employee. We need to write here the 2 benefits of having full-time employee. The workers who are first we need to write the benefit. The first benefit, I could say that workers likely to be more loyal, because if they think that their jobs are permanent, they would work more efficiently and their loyalty to the business would increase. Explanation, may we can write that it will reduce the labor turnover, because employee feel in permanent job the cost of the recruitment will also be lower, as we know that the company has only 5 its employee. Next benefit will be consistent standard of work. Consistent standard of work means each an employee have full-time experience of working in the particular condition. It will lead to better reputation of the business, which is helpful, as using job production will improve the efficiency and quality of the watches. So employees would be trained well, and their efficiency and the quality of the watches will also be greatly increased. So this was a 6-mark question. Hopefully you are getting it. Now we move to the part E for the question number 1, and this is the last part of the question number 1. Do you think job production is the best method for a small business to use? Justify your answer. For justifying, we need to compare with one other method. We can say that job production meet the extra customer exact customer requirement. Yani, it means that whatever the client is required, job production produces. So we can also write it, increase the quality products made to order to take a long time, because they can be customers satisfaction and customer specification. So these products are more customization, and we can also tell them that no economic of scale is achieved. Highly skilled labor is needed, so we have to pay more, and training costs are often required for these type of jobs. Requires a lot of employee and labor intensive work. So you can write as many points as you want. And for the batch production, you can write economic of scale can be achieved, able to produce more unit costs, can produce range of products, and other employees can also be demotivated by added costs of moving from one place to another place. Warehouse space is also needed for the batch production, because we have, so we need to answer it and we need to justify as well. I have written overall, I think job production is not the best method for a small scale business, because small number of scale may not be cover the additional cost of the skilled labor, so business is unable to make profit. So this is a 6-mark question and you need to justify it properly. No extra information is required, just stick to your points and your logics. Now we will move to the question number 2. Question number 2 is, Gloria is a sole trader. Her business provides housing cleaning services. So it's a cleaning services job. Gloria uses telephone calls to communicate with her 4 employees. So this is important information regarding his work, and uses telephone call, house cleaning services. You need to use those terms in order to get answer. Examiner often in answer key inform that many students lack to use the information provided in the context. So you just not to simply write the answer or cram the answer, but you need to apply the answer. You can only apply the answer if you pinpoints these type of information given in the question. So you need to refer whatever you are writing in the answer. She want to expand the business by offering a repair service. So now she want to expand business by adding a more service of repair. Gloria plans to carry out market research. Okay, she has been told producing a business plan can help to reduce risk. Gloria would also like to reduce her workload and considering taking on a business partner. So there are multiple information like uh, making a plan and also sharing the workload with the partner. Identify two ways a business plan can help a business to reduce the risk. So there are number of points you can write. So I have written, business can help to attract the investor, or fundraising can be increased if business plan works. Number 2, it can also help to understand the level and type of competition in the market in which you are dealing. So business plan is always helpful for the businesses to make, especially if you are starting business. Identify 2 possible reasons why a business might want to expand. Simple reason a business always want to expand is to earn more profits, and also to increase the market share, to eliminate competitors, to get to achieve economic of scale. You can write multiple reasons other than these two. Outline one advantage and one disadvantage to Gloria of using telephone calls as a method of communication with her employees. So you need to write one advantage and one disadvantages uh, of her method of communication with her employer. So advantage can be she can always in contact with her employees because telephone is a easy medium to connect with her employees. And she can contact with employee anytime she want. Disadvantage is that maybe that due to technical issues or no signal area, it would increase her own workload in case if signals are not properly working. So you need to write one advantage or disadvantage. You can also add other point that would be relevant to that question asked. Now we will move to the part D. Part D is explain two factors Gloria should consider when deciding whether to take a business partner. Factor number one. You can write multiple factors, but you need to answer accordingly. You have to explain uh, the factors you are providing information. Factor one is the responsibilities and the control would be shared. Sharing responsibility can reduce the workload of the Gloria, but it can also raise or lead to conflicts about the way of cleaning business should run. The earlier practices may be ignored, maybe the conflict of the market's strategies, maybe both the partners could not come up to one point. Second factor can be profit must be shared. Obviously, when the partner also enter because he or she wants to earn the business profit. From Gloria used to be a sole trader. When she is moving from sole trader to partnership, it might be that the profit or earning must be shared, or it can also be that the losses are also be shared. So in case of losses she would prefer, but in case of profit she might say that it was her idea, or conflict could also arise from here. Explain. Next question is the last part of that question, number 2. Explain two methods of primary market research a business could use to find out the demand of a new product or service. Which could be the best method to use? Justify your answer. This is a pure question of market research. And market research have number of methods like questionnaires, like surveys, like online surveys, postal communication, interviews, focus group, or observation. There are also other methods, but you need to identify only two methods. I would say that first method that could be applied is the survey or questionnaire. Though through it large amount of information can be gathered that allow many people to answer the same question, so you can analyze and compare, and by comparing you have an idea what kind of service a customer or what kind of product a customer want. So this is a good method. Next method is the focus group, which can gather highly detailed responses and have a chance to ask follow-up questions. The follow-up questions are very important. They help us in deciding what to produce and for whom to produce, and what things that our product or service should be for the customer satisfaction. So the follow-up questions are important. In my opinion, I think focus group would be better method. In this case, business extra detail could always help the business to achieve success. So the two questions are completed. Now we will move to the question number 3. VVA. VVA is a business based in country X. It manufactures school backup bags. VVA use retailers as its channel of distribution. The managing directors know that there are many factors that can affect the demand, including the stage of the business cycle and how competitive the market is. VVA imports 45% of raw material. This is important information. 45% of this raw material is dependent on imports. ठीक है, and the business cycle is also important, the name of the business is also important, the function and what it does is also manufacturing, the school business, and it's in the business or retailing business, and channel or distribution are, these are the important information. The managing director worried that the introduction of import tariffs and import quotas as well as the appreciation in the country's exchange rate is in the favor of the home country will affect VVA. So this is our case study. So we need to answer the first question. It define import tariff. Import tariff basically impose होता है उन चीज़ों पर जिन चीज़ों को government want to that people do not use them or people do not import such products. So maybe government want to increase the exports, or maybe government want that local distributor or supplier have a more share of margin. A what is first party define import tariff? A tax imposed on imported goods when they arrive into a country. So this is a simple definition. You can write in your own words as well. You can write a specific form of tax imposed on imported goods, or partial definition would, if you do not mention a word tax here, you would only get 1 mark. Okay, identify 2 reasons why some markets become more competitive. We know that this is a era of globalization or free trade, or you can also say that reason number 2 is improvement in the transport. Other than that, you can write internet, social media, new legal laws, increasing the competitor. Any relevant point also be considered a good point. State the 4 stages of the business cycle. You need to write only the 4 stages: recession, growth, boom, slump, and depression. You know the business cycle graph curve, or you know that recession, what is the period of recession, what is the period of growth, and what is the period of boom and slump and depression. Next time examiner could ask you to explain briefly on the 2 of these cycles. So you need to practice for the next session. Now we will move to the part D. Explain the possible effect of the following changes VVA when importing raw material. Introduction of import quotas in the country X. First part require introduction of import quotas in the country X. It will reduce the amount of imports. Whenever the duties and quotas are increased, the amount of imports are reduced. Next part is the explanation of it will reduce the amount of imports, reduce the output, may have to depend upon the local supplier. Appreciation of country exchange rate. If country exchange rate would help, it will mean that imports are become more cheaper. It will reduce the cost of VVA. We know that 45% of VVA depends upon the imports. Okay, so it will reduce the cost, so it might result in lowering the prices so locals can be more benefited. The next last part of question number 3 is, do you think retailers are the best channel of distribution for manufacturing business to use? Justify your answer. Retailers offer a wide range of distribution which will increase the customer base, and the sales in the different areas could take place, which can help to increase the potential sales. Selling direct to the customer mean that the business can take all the profit. I think selling to the retailer is better, as the high sales will increase the total revenue, which will affect the lower of profit margin, so which will offset the lower profit margin. So you can write your answer in this format as well. You can write also other point like retailers can sell in the large quantities, price may be higher, loss of control of marketing miss, retailer takes some of the profit which reduce the profit margin. of the customer, of the manufacturer, obviously. So you can write any of other point as well, but you need to justify your answer. Now we will move to the last question of our paper, that is question number 4. And question number 4 is about clothing retailer. CPF is a, again, the name of the business and what type of business it is. It is a clothing retailer. It is a PLC, means private limited company. It has four shops and 30 employees. The finance director is concerned about the amount of current asset, because working capital is a very important term, definitely would be asked in the later part. The amount of retained profit is also low. What is retained profit? The business, okay, the first part is carrying its definition, so I will explain it later. CPF directors are planning to expand the business. What they are planning to expand by opening a new shop. Already they have 4 shops, now they want to open a new shop. A suitable source of long-term finance will need to be identified. The plan to expand will affect many of CPS shareholder groups. Okay. Define retained profit. Profit reinvested back into the business after all the payments like taxes, expenses, and dividends have been paid. So this is known as retained profit or retained earning. What is meant by current asset, or define current asset in the B part? Items owned by the business and used within a 1 year. Like accounting student would know that what is the meaning of current asset. Like they have for 1 year they have a possession, like their inventory is also a current asset. Okay, part C, outline 2 possible reasons why working capital is important for CPF. Okay, to pay to day-to-day expense. The business that have 4 shops and the 30 employees, it has to be some day-to-day expenses that should to be used when the company has working capital. It can be used to pay short-term debts, such as paying for its 30 employees or working in the shop. Reason number 2, to pay for unexpected expenses like emergencies. When the business is looking to expand, working capital is also increased. In this case, CPF is thinking about opening a new shop. Now we will move to the next part, that is part D. One way explain one way each of the following stakeholder groups might be affected by CPF plan to expand its business. Employee opportunities for the promotion for the 30 employees. Obviously they might think that when business get expanded, they might have more chances to be promoted. It may be able to benefit from higher wages. Working extra might increase the chances of bonuses and overtime. Additional supplier from the supplier point of view, supplier is also a stakeholder. The production of more clothing will lead to additional revenue. It will have to distribute to new areas, increasing the transportation cost. So these are the points. You can write also the other points as well. Now we will move to the last part of our paper, part E. Do you think it is better for a private limited company to use debt or equity share as a source of long-term finance? Justify your answer. We know that when company is about to expand, company look for the financing method. There are many methods we need to discuss here, only debt and equity financing. So debt and equity debt using debt sometimes might be difficult to raise because additional financing banks require guaranteed, and they are extra concerned about or if they agree they to give you some kind of debt, they their interest cost will be too much higher. So it would be very difficult to take. But by selling shares to private limited company, where you can sell it to your friends or your close family or relatives, it does not require additional cost of interest, or you have to pay. You only need to pay dividend after earning some profit share. So there are chances of increasing the through share is more than compared to debts, in my opinion. So now I will read my answer. Using debt may be difficult to raise additional financing if banks are concerned about their ability to repay existing loans. Selling or issuing share means no interest, so no extra cash outflow. I think equity is a better option, because if the business has financial difficulty, debt is still expected to be repaid, which increase the chances of business failure. It can sell to only friends and family. So you need to write these point. You can also tell that dividend that is expected to shareholder, so less retained profit and give up some part of ownership. So you can add those point as well and justify your answer. The paper is coming on Friday. I think you students have prepared it well, and by watching this video, I think some of your concept might be clear, and the answer should carry information, and you should know that those information and those types should be explained in a proper manner. Do not write too much point. Examiner is writing that award the first 2 points from the question. You do not need to write as many points, but you need to explain, or you need to build up on your answer to get full 4 marks or 6 mark question. Take it. So it does not require extra um, writing skills, but it requires to how effectively or how efficiently you attempt your paper. If you do find this video helpful, do share with your friends who have a paper of business studies, and best of luck for your paper. Thank you so much for watching this video. Do like and subscribe my channel. Allah Hafiz.